Hi, welcome back to Tony's British English. Well, the problem is I'm bored. I'm really bored. Yeah, that's how I feel. I feel bored. I also feel tired. Being bored makes me feel tired. So today, what we're going to do is look at adjectives that end in ed. But also, we are going to look at adjectives, the same adjectives that end in ing. So at the beginning of the film, I was bored and I was tired. Why? Because the program I'm watching is, drum roll, boring. Aha! So we have I am bored because it's boring. I'm bored because it's boring. What do you notice? ed or ing? Well, ed is how you feel. I feel bored because the program, the TV program I'm watching is boring. ed, ing. I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed because it's annoying. I'm annoyed because it's annoying. I'm shocked. Why? Because it's shocking. It's shocking. So we have ed for how we feel and ing, what makes us feel. So today what we're going to look at is the difference between the two. I'm interested in history. I'm interested in history. So, history is interesting. So, history is interesting. I'm frustrated. I've been waiting here for half an hour for the bus and the bus isn't here. I am feeling frustrated. Why? Because the situation is frustrating. Frustrating. Last night I fell over. I fell over because I wasn't watching where I was going. I fell over last night because I wasn't watching where I was going. And I fell over. God, I fell over in front of my wife and her friends. I made a hole in my trousers and I was covered in mud. Oh dearie me, it was the first time I had met her. I felt so embarrassed. I felt really embarrassed. My face was red. Oh no. I was embarrassed because it's embarrassing falling over in front of your wife's friend. I feel so excited. I feel really, really excited. Why? Because this afternoon my favourite football team are playing. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm looking forward to it so much. I'm really excited. Why? Because my football team playing in their new stadium is so exciting. It's so exciting. So we notice that ED is how we feel. ING is what makes us feel. Last night I saw my wife. I saw my wife dancing on tables. She had a bottle of vodka in one hand and a cigarette in the other. And she was dancing on the table. I walked in and I was shocked. I was so shocked. That's my wife. It was very, very shocking. Shocking. It was so shocking. So we have ED and ING. ED is how we feel. ING is what makes us feel. Cool? With me so far? Good. Now we can also make suggestions. If we're feeling bored, then go and do something interesting. Go and do something interesting. Ah, yeah. Good idea. If you're annoyed, do something about it. Do something about it. So we can make suggestions. We can make suggestions, which are, why don't you? Why don't you? Why don't we? Why don't I? Why don't they? Because we can use why don't you as a suggestion. So hey, Tony. Yeah. You're bored. Yeah. Because the TV is boring. Why don't you go outside and go for a long walk? Why don't you? It's a suggestion. But also there are other suggestions we can make. I'm bored watching this program. It's so boring. Well, you could go for a walk. Also, we have another one. Let's go for a walk. Let's go for a walk. Let's go. So we have 3. I'm so bored. How about going for a walk? How about going for a walk? How about going for a walk? This is another way of making a suggestion. Cool? I'm frightened. I'm frightened. Why? Because there's a monster in the garden. Why don't you go into the garden and talk to the monster? How about going into the garden and confronting the monster? You could go and hide. All these are ways of making suggestions. So, for example, I went to the pub last night. I saw my wife dancing on the table, bottle of vodka in one hand, cigarette in the other. I was shocked. I said to my friend, I am so shocked at her behavior. And he said, why don't you talk to her? You could just ignore it. How about going home and cooking her a nice meal? These are all suggestions, which are, you could, how about, why don't you, let's. Now, we can't use ed and ing for all adjectives, only some. Now, one way to decide which is by looking at the adjective itself. If it ends in ed, then you can put ing. But if it doesn't, you can't. That's easy, isn't it? Okay, so for example, lonely. You can't say lonelying. You can't say fed up, fed upping. No. So only adjectives that end in ed can you make ing. Yeah? Easy. And there are some irregulars, because you can say stressed. Stressed. Oh God, I'm so stressed. But you can't say stressing. You can't say stressing. You've got to say stressful. So sometimes, it being English, sometimes, in fact, most of the time, it being English, there are always irregulars. But the general rule is adjectives which end in ed, you can make ing. Ed is how you feel. Ing is what makes you feel. Okay, now we have some homework. Okay, so today is homework time. Now, what makes you excited? What disappoints you? What annoys you? What bores you? Now, I want you to start the sentence with I find. I find. I find watching TV boring. I find waiting for a bus frustrating. I find people who talk too much annoying. I find people who are archaeologists, people who love history, I find them really interesting. Okay? And then I want you to make a sentence from those. Yeah? So, I find documentaries interesting. I am interested in documentaries. I find waiting for a bus frustrating. So, I am frustrated. I want you to start with the sentence with I find, and I want you to finish the sentence. Easy peasy. Okay, I'll see you soon. Have a good day. Bye.